Today we are gonna talk about two approaches which are available for the analysis and design of feedback control system. First one is in the frequency domain and second one is in the time domain. Let's start with frequency domain. So as a first approach, we're gonna talk about the design and analysis in the frequency domain. We're gonna see how do we represent the system and what kind of advantages and disadvantages we'll see with this representation. So in the frequency domain, uh, which in some books you can see they call it the classical approach. We actually we represent the system based on the output and input of the system. So if you consider a transfer function, for instance, let's call it by G, and then in terms of S, which is the complex variable, this one equal to output divided by input. So this is output of the system and this is input of the system. So to represent the system in this classical method, we should have a transfer function which represents a system based on output and input. But actually, for instance, when we represent a system or describe a system based on differential equation, we can transfer this differential equation to a transfer function by using Laplace. So then based on this transfer function, we can do design and, for instance, design for feedback control. But what about the second approach? The second approach is in the time domain. And this is the modern approach. Actually, the time domain, or we can call it state space approach, is the mathematical domain that incorporates the description of the system, including input, output, response, all in terms of time. So the variable here is not S anymore. The variable is time. So that's why we call it time domain. And then if we consider the general form of state space in time domain, we're gonna have x dot in terms of t equal to a x in terms of t plus b u in terms of t. And then we have another equation in this description, which is output showing with y in terms of t equal to c xt plus d u. And normally d is 0. So in this representation, if you see, we have first derivative of x equal to x plus u. So x are state of the system, x is a state of the system, but when we have dot on top of that, it's first derivative of a state of the system, or we can say dynamic of the system. So first derivative of the state of the system. And then this is a state of the system, and u is input, and this one is output equation. Which is written based on a state of the system and input. And if you see, you have A, B, C, D. These are actually constant terms to describe this system. And then it's like for the first equation, when we have x dot equal to ax, this A matrix will relate first derivative of a state of the system to a state of the system. So and this A matrix is really important. We will see that most of the design is based on this A. And plus BU, B is a matrix that can be related to input, which is entered to the system, and dynamic of the system, which is x dot. And also for the output equation, output is also written based on a state of the system plus input. And this C and D also are constant matrix. And for instance, D can be 0, and C can be written based on the output. Normally we consider it based on measurement output. For instance, in the system we should see which parameter, which variant can be measured, which one of the state can be measured, and then based on the measurement we can write this C, which can show you, okay, our output, our measurement equal to this C times X. And also for the representation in time domain, this representation make it possible to describe all dynamic of the system. I mean, this one is the linear one, but if we want to have the general representation for all dynamic, for instance, for nonlinear, for time variant, for time invariant, we can consider the general form of state space, which is x dot equal to a function which is written based on a state of the system and input of the system. So it shouldn't be a linear function. It can be non-linear. And actually, most of the system in real world are non-linear. So we are much closer to reality in this representation. And then for output, we have y equal to h in terms of the state of the system and input of the system. But well, you can see we have two types of approaches for analysis and design of feedback control. We didn't enter to design yet. We are talking about representation before design feedback control. So but this representation are different. For instance, the first one, think about why do we need to go to time domain representation? Why we don't just focus on frequency domain? If you see in the frequency domain, we have a transfer function, and this transfer function, we cannot consider the initial condition in this transfer function. So sometimes the initial condition is really important for seeing the future of the system. I mean, behavior of the system during time, and also other limitations. But in the time domain, if you see a state of the system, which are represented by these two equations, allow us for considering the initial condition of the system, and also make it possible to analyze the internal feature of the system. Because if you see, we can see internal feature of the system in the X, and it's easier to see the details, what is happening actually inside of the system. And yeah, and it's easier to extend this representation to a multiple input, multiple output system. But in the frequency domain, uh, it's not that much. It's not impossible, but it's not that much easy. It's like you should consider different output with different input, and then consider different transfer function to represent a multi-input, multi-output system. And it's not easy to analyze whole of the system. But in the time domain, it's actually you can have multi-input and multi-output. And you can write them in a vector. We will see more details about a state space representation of the system in the next videos. Thank you for listening.